The Medog hydropower station, located on the lower reaches of the Yarlung Zangbo River in Tibet, has entered full-scale construction. The plan envisions 5 hydropower plants built along a 50-kilometer stretch of river, exploiting one of the steepest elevation drops in the world, roughly 2,000 meters. Once completed, the total installed capacity is expected to exceed 60 gigawatts, with an annual electricity generation of around 300 billion kilowatt-hours. The project is backed by an estimated investment of 1.2 trillion yuan, which converts to approximately $168 billion. It is part of China's broader push to expand domestic energy infrastructure while shifting toward renewable and low-emission sources. This dam is designed to play a pivotal role in reducing the country's reliance on coal, stabilizing regional electricity supplies, and supporting national carbon goals set for mid-century. The hydropower station will harness the enormous drop in elevation along the Yarlung Zangbo River just before it exits China. This area within the Yarlung Zangbo Grand Canyon features some of the world's most extreme terrain. Engineers plan to construct multiple tunnels, each around 20 kilometers in length, through rugged mountains to direct water to turbines housed in underground caverns. This topographic advantage allows for highly efficient energy conversion. The power plant will utilize the natural gravitational force from the elevation drop to maximize electricity output. According to preliminary designs, this will result in a generation capacity unmatched by any hydropower facility currently in operation worldwide. For context, the Three Gorges Dam, currently the world's largest in terms of capacity, generates around 88 billion kilowatt-hours per year. The Medog project's projected output of 300 billion kilowatt-hours is more than triple that. It would not only become the single largest electricity generating facility on Earth, but also one of the most expensive public infrastructure projects ever undertaken. The $168 billion price tag places it alongside other megaprojects such as global nuclear programs, international high-speed rail networks, and large-scale satellite constellations. But unlike some of those ventures, the Medog Dam is centered around tangible energy needs and resource development. The project's scale, location, and environmental sensitivity have raised significant questions. The Yarlung Zangbo River runs through some of the world's most remote and biodiverse regions, home to a variety of endangered species and fragile ecosystems. Critics have pointed out the absence of a fully transparent environmental review process, especially given the presence of delicate flora and fauna in the area. Adding to the complexity is the region's geological activity. The proposed construction site lies near a known seismic zone. While engineers argue that modern building techniques and advanced materials will mitigate earthquake risks, past megaprojects have shown that unforeseen natural events can have serious consequences for dam stability and downstream populations. As the Yarlung Zangbo flows into India and Bangladesh, where it is known as the Brahmaputra, it becomes a critical source of water for millions. Both countries rely heavily on its waters for agriculture, drinking supply, and hydropower. There are growing concerns in South Asia about the implications of upstream infrastructure on downstream flow patterns, sediment loads, and seasonal water availability. India, in particular, has voiced unease over the potential geopolitical leverage that a massive upstream dam could offer. There are worries that the project could alter river flow during dry seasons or reduce flood buffering during the monsoon. While China has consistently stated that the dam will be used solely for electricity generation and will not affect water volumes significantly, trust remains an issue due to the absence of a formal water-sharing treaty between China and the downstream nations. For China, this hydropower initiative serves multiple strategic purposes. Beyond its energy contribution, the project supports broader goals of industrial expansion, grid resilience, and national integration, especially in underdeveloped Western regions. Hydropower is also seen as a necessary complement to intermittent renewables like wind and solar. The dam will serve as a stable energy anchor for Western China, enabling factories, cities, and transportation networks to draw on reliable, low-carbon electricity. Moreover, positioning such an infrastructure asset in a politically sensitive region like Tibet adds another layer of strategic intent, signaling both control and investment in frontier areas. The project is managed by a newly established state-owned enterprise created specifically for overseeing the construction and future operation of the Medog Dam system. This enterprise marks the 99th such centrally administered company in China's industrial portfolio. Governance will be shared among key national planning and construction bodies, including central energy regulators, infrastructure commissions, and hydropower specialists. According to public statements, Strict technical supervision and advanced construction materials will be applied to ensure stability and minimize environmental degradation. However, external oversight or third-party monitoring has not been reported. What makes this dam more than just a supersized version of earlier projects is the integration of newer composite materials, smart grid systems, and predictive modeling technologies. Engineers are expected to employ high-strength concrete and anti-seismic frameworks designed to withstand regional geological conditions. Construction began in mid-2025, and completion is projected within the next 8 to 10 years. Early phases will focus on excavation, tunneling, and preliminary river management. Subsequent stages will involve the assembly of turbines, dam faces, and transmission infrastructure to link the plant to the national grid. China's focus on energy resilience is not without reason. Past weather-related disasters have exposed vulnerabilities in national infrastructure. For instance, during a massive snowstorm in 2008, over 20 provinces experienced blackouts, transport paralysis, and severe disruption to economic activity. The disaster revealed how dependent cities and logistics are on consistent electricity, and how fragile traditional coal-based supply lines can be. Since then, hydropower has taken on new significance, not just as an environmental measure but as a resilience strategy. Large dams are viewed as critical backup systems during emergencies and are being positioned as a shield against the increasing frequency of climate-induced disasters such as floods, droughts, and extreme heat. In the broader context of global competition over strategic resources, the Megaproject represents a growing trend in state-led infrastructure aimed at consolidating national power. While Western countries often debate or delay large-scale energy infrastructure due to regulatory and public opposition, China has pressed ahead with tightly coordinated, long-horizon energy plans. This has led to questions in the international community about fair access to transboundary rivers, responsible stewardship of natural resources, and the geopolitical impact of unilateral upstream actions. Critics argue that water, like oil or gas, may become a contested commodity in the future, and that infrastructure like the Megaproject Dam could eventually influence political dynamics across borders. Despite its engineering promise, the Megaproject is entering uncertain terrain. Beyond construction hurdles, the project must eventually prove itself environmentally sustainable, politically acceptable, and financially viable. Ensuring that it doesn't disrupt downstream water regimes will be critical not just to maintain peace with neighboring countries, but also to uphold China's international environmental commitments. The coming years will test whether the world's largest hydropower project can also be one of its most responsible. Successful implementation could signal a new frontier in green energy megaprojects. On the other hand, missteps, whether environmental, technical, or diplomatic, could cast a shadow over an otherwise ambitious effort. The Megaproject hydropower project is one of the boldest infrastructure undertakings of the 21st century. If successful, it could redefine what's possible in sustainable power generation, while also bolstering China's energy independence and long-term industrial strategy. But the path ahead is complex. From seismic risk to downstream diplomacy, the stakes are as high as the mountains surrounding the Yarlung Zangbo River. This is more than just a dam, it is a test of balance between ambition, responsibility, and global cooperation. The world will be watching closely.